Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly, and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. It's Thursday. I'm Redneck Johnny, and I'm gonna go through a few of the companies that I've seen move a little bit this week. We start here at dashboard. I've already pulled up a few companies that I'm planning to go through, and then I'm gonna try to go through the news from in my tracker sheet, because I saw there's been some quarterly filings, like quarterly reports, and also some other press releases. So there's a lot of purple in the conditional formatting now in my alert system for the news in the tracker sheet. So I was planning to go through the news, and then if we find something else, we will spend a little bit time on that and see how it goes. But here's the dashboard. Let's dive right into it. I saw that not so much was moving today. I saw at the end of the day today, oil and gas is a bit down. Coal, I'm not sure. I need to check if I'm using the correct tracker here for coal. So I'm not paying too much attention to this number, because it's a bit hard to find a coal ETF these days. I don't think they exist even. So I need to double check that. So I'm not gonna go through that on the stream. I need to correct it at some point. Palladium is a bit down. And solar, I saw shipping is up again. I think it was up earlier also this week. And did you see Bitcoin got a little bit of a hit this week, but it's more stable today. So the Bitcoin Trust is up today. Let's pull the chart up for Bitcoin. You see it still looks very bullish. But if you go to the daily, you see the big red one here. They had a drop on 4 or 5% yesterday, I think it was. But it seems like it's holding up nicely. I'm not in Bitcoin. I have no idea what Bitcoin does. But I find it a bit interesting to follow and to see how it moves. And I think if I would go into Bitcoin, I would buy in this Trust ETF that I have here. You see they trade the same, and it's from the lows here, it's actually up a lot. So I think personally maybe I would go into this one instead of actually owning Bitcoin. Yeah, some stuff here in the risk column is a bit down, but not the biggest moves today. So wheat is up, corn is a bit down, I'm paying a little bit of attention to these corn and wheat charts because I'm in ALTO. I was thinking about going through ALTO today. It's my biggest position. I've been in it for a long time. I can talk more about it later. So far, it hasn't done extremely well for me, but I'm still hoping to get a nice return there. But I don't know if you have paid attention to ALTO, but I'm a bit more worried now than I have been in the past. The Q3 earnings was a disaster, total disaster from management. It was horrible actually. It went down 60% in a day. But we can check it out later. But it's connected to these corn and wheat prices, so I'm paying a little bit attention to this every now and then to keep up with the story and everything in ALTO ingredients. But interesting to see shipping. I'm using the same as Dane does, the mesh one, and you can see here it's up from the lows, which was in middle of November, and it looks bullish right now. Even over at the same level as it was down here in July. And you know, if it keeps going up, it looks like a good chart right now actually, this shipping one down here. Something to keep in mind when we go through the companies. I don't own any shipping right now, but I own some in the past, some from companies that are based in my country. It did not perform well for me. I know shipping is a very complicated business, for me at least. Maybe some people find it very easy, but I think it's a bit complicated, and there's some good people in my country that follows it that I also tracked a little bit when I was an owner in one of these companies. But I know too little about it to make a comment on the industry. But of course I can comment on some of the companies that I'm looking into. But right now, yeah, it's up. Seems a bit bullish right now. Yeah, I didn't see so much else here, so I think I'm gonna move into the daily movers. I just pulled this off before the stream, and I didn't see it's not that long list today, so it wasn't too many companies, but I saw some familiar tickers here earlier. You see here Nikola. Remember we talked about Nikola in some of the other streams, and today they are up again. It's a bit hard to know when to go into this. Probably I'm not advising anyone, but I'm not gonna go in there right now. But I know you can look. It's 8% up today, and this has some big moves some days. There's definitely opportunity. If you are into that stuff and know how to trade it, we can check the chart. Look how bearish. Imagine it was almost $100. I bought in actually here at 10, and I got a nice gain here, and I sold out again. But then ever since it's just down. But pay attention to the market cap. Still like $1 billion company. That's crazy to me. It's like this can go further down as well, because the fundamentals, they're not making money and it doesn't go to plan. So yeah, we can see it has some big moves for sure. If you are into this kind of stuff and want to trade it, you can get some gains. You can get some nice returns on that, but for me that's too risky. I don't believe in that company right now, so I'm staying away from it. And I saw in my tracker, at least, I found POL Remember we talked about POL? Yeah, for some reason I don't have it in daily movers, but I saw it in tracker. It's down like 30% today. POL was the one that was up like 1000% in a day and went down to 500 at the end. But that was in one day, and just looked like a meme thing, like a social, like a momentum thing. So it's expected, I guess, that it falls heavy in the next days. But I saw it was heavily down today. So just some familiar tickers here in the movers today that we have talked about before. And I saw some bank and insurance companies also today in the daily ones. ARRY Technologies. I don't like the book is still a bit too high here, but I think I'm gonna pull them up just to do it. ARRY. Just to check them out. I'm skipping the banks and the finance stuff. And I pulled out JetBlue already, so we're gonna go through them. This one, for some reason, I don't have this in my numbers, my data, so I cannot pull this up. But I keep seeing it on the daily mover, so it's a bit annoying. Let me know in the comments if you know about this company, because I would like to know a little bit more. Barnes and Noble Education, we have talked about them in the past on the streams. They look good. They look promising, and I know Ranger Dane has talked about them in the past also in his streams. And if you believe that the growth potential is there, I kind of like it. But I think I would need a pullback from today's level. But it's up again today, 14%. So you might not get that. But since we have talked about it in the past, I'm not going to spend time on it today. AKA, we have done them as well. I see them often here in the daily movers. And now, in the last 6 months, almost a double. So yeah, I'm not pulling in so much more from today. It was a bit of a short list. And a lot of stuff are pretty far from the 52-week lows. But I managed to pull up some that we're gonna go through. So let's move over to the fundamentals. We can start to check out some of the companies that I've already pulled up. Fundamentals. Sorry, I'm just trying to make my sheet pull up the latest one, also the ARRY one. There we have it. So we can start with that one, ARRY. Based in Albuquerque, ARRY Technologies manufactures ground mounting systems used in solar energy projects. And remember, we saw that solar was up today, right? Oh, solar was down today. Let's check the chart on solar. I have been down and then a little bit of a bounce up here lately. A little bit of pullback here now. We sort of got oversold here. But it didn't break through any support levels here. So maybe you can view that as a little bit of a bearish sign. But it would have to go up substantially more to reach these lows here. So I don't know enough about technical analysis to make any comments on that it's pulling back here. But I would wait a little bit now to see where this goes. But ARRY's down today as well, 7%. So the company sells its products to engineering procurement and construction firms that build solar energy projects and to large solar developers, independent power producers and utilities, master supply agreements or multi-year procurement contracts. It has offices in Europe, Central America and Australia. The company's products include DuroTrack and SmartTrack, ARRY technologies. Yeah. So they are in the solar business. You see the market cap, they are a big company already. Revenue is a bit low compared to the market cap, I think. Share count has gone down. I mean, it depends on where you start from. But since 2017 it's down, but since the year after it has gone up a lot actually. Capex has gone up the last year. It trades well above book. You can see the short interest. And I think that's because you see the lack of cash generation here. And also the fact that it trades above book. They have a little bit of a dividend and turned the EPS positive this year. They have had some negative years in the past, and historical on the average you can see barely on the plus side. It is leveraged, comes up as levered here, and it issues like 10% more shares than today, so it dilutes the number a bit. That's this calculator that we have built. So these numbers might not be accurate for someone else who looks at this, but I'm taking the leverage into consideration and try to make it issue shares so it dilutes it a bit to take down the risk a little bit in the numbers when I go through the fundamentals. They had an acquisition here last year, so the book value is up. From that, and they have a little bit of cash. They have enough to cover the near-term debt, but you see the total current liabilities is well above this number. But I think they don't have too much debt. They are a bit levered, but I think I would assume they have control on this. My biggest worry here is all this low cash generation. Compared to the share price today of 15. You can see the 52-week high is 26, but the lows are 13, so it trades close to the low. Yeah, and I can understand a little bit that they have a high short interest. Because historically, if you look at the 7-year average on operating cash flow, you just get 12 cents. And isn't it a bit like this in the industry? Solar and EVs like that. They struggle a little bit to make money. So I guess in that regard, you can say that it's positive to see positive earnings. They also had the last one during the pandemic. Other than that, they are on the minus side. So when you view it like this, 0.47 is probably positive, but this needs way more for me. I think it trades too high for me to be interested. We can check Seeking Alpha. Sometimes I change everything I said if I come across a good article. and they are a bit all over the place. I see some hold ratings and some buy ratings. One article today actually. Look here, ARRY Technologies tumbles to 52-week low after revenue guidance cut, and that was in November. This guy, which has the nickname Mega Solar, so I assume he's into this space. And I don't know him. He might be he might know this space really well. I assume he does. And he says like this is nuts. This is one of the strongest companies in the space. And like we saw on the market cap, this is a fairly big company, I think, and they do have good revenue. And also look at this revenue growth since 2017. That's pretty big. What messes up the data a little bit is the numbers. I mean, the conditional formatting is the numbers here. You see, they don't they are not coherent with these numbers. So that's why the conditional formatting is a bit off. But this revenue growth is pretty big, and but they have also gained a little bit depth to get that. But that's okay. I think, like I said earlier, I think the depth doesn't worry me too much here. It's more about the cash generation. But the positive side is that they have turned it positive this last year. So when they say that it's one of the stronger ones in the space, they might be right about that. Let's check this one from today as a hold rating. ARRY has underperformed its small cap peers over the past year. Despite the weakness, we pick out multiple themes which suggest that things are not as bad as market thinks. Given the earnings growth on offer, valuations look tasty. However, the chart still suggests the bearish conditions are yet to abate. So did we even pull up the chart here? I don't think we did. Oh yeah, see, there's something in my data set that, because this doesn't go back further than to the pandemic, and in my fundamentals I have a long history, so they must have tracked something else. So we should focus on the numbers from here, and then I guess like the revenue growth is still impressive. Still impressive. But where does it go from here? The book value has risen a little bit, and I assume it's thanks to this acquisition here. And you can see the debt has does the same, and the current liabilities. It's a bit down though since last year, both the total debt and the current liabilities, and the short term. So they seem to pay down and focus on that, which is good. But still, what worries me is this lack of cash generation here. And I can see this guy talked about a bearish chart. I can see why. It doesn't look too good, in my opinion. Just based on that chart. But it has traded sideways for long, not completely sideways, a little bit up and down, but all in all, a bit sideways since August, 1.5 years ago. And then it seems to have broken down a little bit, and let's see where this goes now. Yeah, but I think this is probably not something I will add to the tracker already. But let's just read through this article that came out today. He's doing more like a technical approach here, I think. NXT is performing much better and looks to be the market leader. Yeah, so I don't know this space too much. I have no investments in that space, and I'm not sold on this one. But I have noted a positive earnings this last year, a high short interest, growing book a little bit at least. Margin seems to be up since 2020. So does revenue. So there are things that are good, but my biggest concern, like I've said many times now, is this lack of cash generation. So I'm gonna pass on it. But if I see it again, it trades now 14% to 52-week low. This would have to break further down, I think, than 13 even, for me to get interested. But down here, like at 6, probably not gonna get there. But it would have to go substantially down from here for me to get interested. I must say that. So yeah, let's move on. The next one is Calm, which we did a stream on not too long ago. But I pulled them up because I saw there was some news yesterday or something like that. So I'm just gonna go through the news. Oh yeah, now I remember. They had a quarterly earnings report yesterday. And I saw a comment that someone expected them to underperform, which they kind of did. But I think the market didn't take it too bad because it's up 2.5% today. And you see here that they missed by 0.48 and 2.60 million in revenue. But I think it's more positive because they are adding. Some people are adding back. They are in a court case about some animal welfare, I think it is. So they assume if they add back the money they potentially have to pay there, it didn't look so bad. But of course, these comments are not so good. But I mean, the company is up today. Here I saw the guy here, Calvin Ott. He seems to have followed this for a while. And this was before the earnings was released, so he commented, and I'm thinking that earnings might be in the 60 to 65 cent range. Hopefully wrong. Not sure if Calm will need the book to book the legal settlement they are contesting. Tyson plant purchase should enable Calm to expand cage-free production and take some market share. HPAI losses were significant in December, including Calm KS location, which may lead to some good Easter prices. More optimistic for a good Q3. And then he commented again after the report came out. He commented 35 cents earnings, but 65 cents if legal settlement net of tax added back. So there's some stuff going on there that I have to look deeper into to consider take a position. But right now I don't really consider take a position. But I know Ranger Dane and we went through this on a stream not too long ago. So if you're interested to see our comments back then, you can check out one of those streams. We always list the tickers that we go through in the description. So if you are curious to see what we have talked about, you can just read the descriptions in the different videos. The interesting point here is that they have cash on the books here. And they are generating some decent cash. But the question is, how sustainable will this be? I'm just talking the short thinking that we did now, because the prices of eggs has been up a lot lately. So who knows where the prices of egg will be in the future? and that is, of course, you can see this year has been very good for them. And I saw some news here also. Calmain Foods reports higher egg volume even as prices crater from a year ago. So I guess that's, you need to track the egg prices also and see how they do. They had come down. So I don't know where this is gonna land, but interesting for sure to pay attention to it. That was calm. I was just gonna take up the news because I saw they had a quarterly earning report, and it didn't look so good. But I guess if you add back that it was approximately like some people expected at least, and maybe that's why they are up today. You can see here. This is just from November, so you can probably expect that it goes down a little bit again before it goes maybe up. But it's definitely interesting on the chart at this in this territory, I think. But it looks a bit expensive right now. All right, we will move on to EAF. Also some that I pulled out from my tracker. I didn't find it in Daily Movers. So EAF, Graphtech International, manufactures graphite electrode products essential to the production of electric arc furnace steel and other ferrous and non-ferrous metals. The firm also produces needle coke products, which is a raw material to produce graphite electrodes. Its customers include steel producers and other ferrous and non-ferrous metal producers in Europe, Middle East and Africa, the Americas and Asia Pacific, which sells its products into automotive, construction, appliance, machinery, equipment and transportation industries. Okay, it's from Brooklyn. So you can see it trades close to the 52-week low here at 197. It's up a little bit today, but nothing too much. 52-week low is 188, and the highs is almost at 7. So first thing you notice is the revenue drop, but that is not necessarily that's probably why you find it at the connected to why you find it trading to the 52-week low. But there are things here that I like. You can see the operating cash flow historically is almost $1, and when this trades like at these levels, that's not too bad. The book value 112, tangible book a little bit lower, and I don't like the dividend, even though it's a small one. I need to check into this, but also you can see the historical, they are tiny. Earnings has been positive on the historical side, $1 in earnings, and look, it trades at 2, so that's something to look at. 0 in short-term debt, but they have some longer term, and the current is 170 million. Total is almost $1 billion. So this is already on the, with my calculator, it's already diluting these numbers here. This has an effect on the 3-year averages on the cash generation mainly. Some other places also in the sheet. It has some cash, excess cash right now, enough to cover the total current liabilities almost. So I'm more worried about the longer term debt, but we can go through and check when they are due. Maybe we can go to Finra and check if they are trading there. What was it? EAF. No, I don't find it there. Let's just check it here and in the quarterly filings. And here. Yeah, so these two together is a combined 900 million. These are senior secured notes. They took one in 2020 and then now in 2023. Not too bad. So they are due in 2028. Okay, so they have used it to pay off the term loan from 2018. These other ones from 2023 are a bit higher on the interest rate, but they are also due in 2028. So this debt here is a bit longer term, 4 years from now. And then of course the question will be, will they generate enough to pay that down? But it's already issuing shares, you know, so I kind of take that into consideration. But it's I would need to read some articles to see if other people have some comments on that estimate and if they think they will do that. We can check the chart here. Looks very bearish right now, but reaching the oversold territory. But you can see it's a bit in a free fall. It's a bit in a free fall. So I'm not sure if you oh, that happened last time too. Oh no. What is going on? This was what I was gonna do. Yeah, I don't know these lines, but it doesn't look good if you look at that downtrend. And the volume has been consistent lately, and on the up also on the sell side, which is why you see it's close to being oversold down here. This could be an opportunity though. And if it falls even lower, you can see on the last year, on these single years, it hasn't performed very good on the cash generation, but still positive earnings. And it has a long period now where the earnings has been positive. And that's why you get like around a dollar on the average. And it trades at $2. High EV, that's the depth, right? And no insider buys. Actually, there's been some 10% seller. 10% seller who has sold consistently. So they want out, but they have a lot of shares. Let's check Whale Wisdom for this. Oh no, the ownership column is blank again. What is going on, Whale Wisdom? Yeah, here they are. So they have the shares They are selling off, but it's still worth a lot what they have. And I couldn't find so much information on them when I did it quickly now. Yeah, not so many interesting names here. But it looks like those 10% owner wants to get out. You see, they have some cash. They have some asset, like hard assets here. Goodwill, I just discount the goodwill. Near term, they are fine, but the long term is a bit more worrying. So what are people writing about them? A lot of hold ratings. And I bet they are down then from those. So I'm just checking through the comments to see if I find some familiar names here. Look here. This is recent. GrafTech announces increased public float through consortium stock distribution and board resignation. So it seems like things are happening a little bit in the company, but there's a lot of bearish things here. But that's also where you get the opportunities. But I wouldn't go in here. I would need to see a little bit more of development. But like I said, I have it in the tracker, so I am tracking it. As I read more in call scripts, there is an increasing competition from India and China, which sell it at low prices, and that's bad. China was using other electrodes when their economy was booming, but now that it has slowed, they are exporting electrodes and undercutting graphics prices. Okay, so they seem to struggle with the competition. The value investor, he writes on a lot of things. I'm just looking for some other familiar names here. And you see he has had a hold rating since November 2022. But yeah, interesting. Like I said, I'm not jumping in here, but I do like the I do like how cheap it's starting to get. But the question will of course be if it will continue to drop or if it will manage to turn it around. Based on the historic cash generation, at least they are They are a bit interesting here, I think, in my opinion, but not interesting enough. You can see the 52-week high is like close to 7. So if this continues to drop down towards, for example, 1, that will be interesting, I think. Of course, depending on what you think about the business, it's very bearish if China is taking over the business and they are losing market share. But there was some board resignation, right? So let's check the press releases on that. So GrafTech announces leadership update. Marcel Kessler has informed the company board of directors of his intention due to family reasons to step down as CEO and president effective November 15 and resign as an employee of the company effective December. Yeah, so that was now. Mr. Kessler will continue to serve the GrafTech board. The board has appointed Tim Flanagan, the current CFO, to serve as interim CEO and president. Okay. So there has been some changes. If he's just an interim, I guess they are looking for a new CEO then. So that would be something to pay attention to, the updated news on that. Completely lack of insider buying though. But I guess maybe this is them, because I saw the name down here. BCP GrafTech Holdings. Either way, not paying too much attention to that in this case. Revenue down. And some decent both operating and free cash flow on the historical values here. Trading close-ish to book right now, but it would have to go a little bit more down before I think this is more attractive. Look at the drop in the earnings lately. And the worrisome parts are the long-term debt, and if it's true that China is taking over their business for much cheaper price and that they are being outcome, what do you call it, like outplayed in their field. You can see the margins are also a bit down here. Oops, wrong button. So yeah, there's some good things and some bad things here, and but I guess you would have to track this and see how low it goes. It trades at 5% from the 52-week low right now, so this can get a new 52-week bottom, and then the question is how low will it go before it gets attractive for an entry position. And then update on potential insider buys and also news on new leadership and the development on who's going to be the regular CEO and stuff like that. Yeah, let's move on. FF. This is some biofuel, I think. Also a company I found in the tracker. Trades close to 52 low, 12% from it at 527, and right now it trades at 6. A little bit of a revenue growth, but a lot on the 3-year average. They have had 2 solid years here now. In the last year, look, it shows up at safe, so that means they are not too levered, and they have cash. They have 0.39 per share in net excess cash, and that is, let me just do some quick. That is like 17 million in net excess cash, and it trades below book. And the book has gone a little bit up in the last 3 years, but down if you go a little bit further out. And they are generating also some good cash on the 7 and the 3-year average, but had some bad year this year. I mean 2023. But that's probably why you get it trading low now. As a dividend, and historical earnings are on the positive side, so in that regard you can say it's a well-run company. Future Fuel Corp is engaged in the development, manufacture, marketing of biofuels and specialty chemicals. It operates through the chemicals and biofuel segments. The chemical segment produces chemical products that are sold to third-party customers. The biofuel segment includes the manufacture and market of biodiesel, including biodiesel blends with petrodiesel, petrodiesel with no biodiesel added, RINs, biodiesel production, byproduct, and purchase and sale of other petroleum products. It's based in St. Louis. So the interesting thing here is that sticks out straight away is that they have been able to have some consistent revenues the last 2 years. That it shows up as safe here, and that they have very little debt, actually only 32 million on the current liabilities, and that they have cash. So they have full control of the debt, the way I look at it right now. And they are generating cash historically, but this year has been bad. But that maybe has given you this opportunity to get it as cheap as this. I just saw now that the owners own 41% according to this number, and you don't need to go so far back before it was at 10. So it's almost cut in half from that, and you can see here it's like retesting this bottom a bit, so you might not get it so much lower from this point. It's many years since it traded that cheap. If you take away the pandemic, it has gone up to 20 in the past, but also dropped down to around 10 where it was recently. So just based on the chart, it's interesting that it tests its bottom again, and also a couple of times, and it bounced off a little bit from the on the RSI here, but has turned negative now again. So let's see where it goes. And of course, if this breaks down again below this low point, who knows where it's going to turn back and if it's going to turn back. But what's also catching my eye a bit is this volume right here. I got a tick up in the price, because that stands out if you look at the volume, and that's a buyer after a big drop. So that's interesting. if this is one purchase. Look at, how does this work? Trade date 2014, and then it shows up in the filings now. But all these are old anyways. So it may have been our owner here. There we go. Oh, the ownership column is back. Nice. So this one, it's the only position they have. And those are the big owners. Remember we talked about the 41%. Oi, RK Asset Management. Is that you, Roaring Kitty? Are you an owner here? It would be cool if you are, but I don't think that's him. Just gonna check the other owners here. So that's probably him. Yeah. Have you heard about this guy before? This guy. I think it's that guy. um, or former CEO something. Yeah. The company was founded by Lee Mikkels and Paul Anthony Nowley. So he's still the owner, but I saw some news now here that there's a CEO transition from some years ago. Tony Nowley has informed Future Fuel Board of Directors that he will step down from his position as CEO of the company, and he will continue as chairman of board of directors. So he's the founder and previous CEO who now owns a lot of the company, 40%, according to this filing. And I guess that's why you can see the trade date go back so long here, because that's him all the time buying. This was the other founder, Mikkels. All right. So a few people own a lot here. So interesting to see. And ALTO deals in a little bit of this. They deal in a little bit of the same, like in the ethanol fuel, and also they are trying to get into special aviation fuel industry. And I'm a big, I'm not a big owner, but I have a big position for me in ALTO. So I'm not sure if I would jump into someone who deals in somewhat the same stuff, even though they are different for sure. But I want to spread my bets out a little bit when I look for new tickers now. I've said in the past that right now I don't have a very big portfolio with many tickers. I actually only have 3, and one of them I bought recently. So I've been holding ALTO for a long time, and I'm that's a big position for me, and I'm still waiting for some catalyst there that makes it go a little bit up. But the last quarter was terrible for ALTO, but I had some positive sides to it. We can jump to ALTO now. But before we do that, let's just check Seeking Alpha here. And keep in mind, I have them in the tracker already, so this is interesting. I just think you can drop even lower. They have some decent comments on these articles, who are all a bit recent at least. Wiley Digger, analyze this. I've seen his name before. Just again, I'm looking for a few more names that I know on these articles. Sometimes I find some good names and they have a comment or something that make me think a little bit deeper, and maybe sometimes I'm changing my mind. But this, keep in mind, already a bit interesting. They have cash. They are not terrible on the cash flow generation here. They come up as safe, so they have control of the debt, and they trade below book right now, but also close to 52 low. So there's a lot of things that I like here, which is why it's in tracker already. Oh, courage and conviction. This is from 12th of September. And when was this article posted? Yeah, 12th of September. Strong buy, 695. So from this article was posted, it's down almost 14%. But that doesn't mean too much if this is a longer term play. And what did Courage say here? Very nicely done. I agree with your thought process. Incidentally, last Friday at 6:70, I wrote a very similar piece to my investing group. Okay. Which means also that he was bullish on it in early September. It seems like they have gone to the same college or something like that. Okay, nice to know. Courage is involved there. I don't know if he's still involved, but if he was, writing to his followers on 670. It now trades at 599. Stable share count. Look historically, has not moved a lot at all. And they've never had so much debt, at least according to here. If you look at the total liabilities also, or the total current. But they have made some acquisitions all along here, which seems to have been doing well for them. Seems like a well-run company, actually. And the upside, what's the upside? I don't know. Like, I can see this go to, it was 10 this year, and it has been up towards 10 a few times in the past, hasn't it? Around here, like 10, close to 10 here, again here, 10 here. Pandemic years a bit messy, right? Had a big fall here before the pandemic, but it came down to 10. So 10 seems to be like both a bottom if you go back here, but also a roof if you go down here. And of course, if you aim for and it's interesting that it tested the bottom again here. You might not get this so much lower. And it's below the price that both Courage and this William Matson guy, where they had a strong buy rating. Deep value growth at a reasonable price. I'm currently seeking full-time employment with a family office, foundation, or endowment. I'm attracted by the unique opportunity that these entities can provide me to generate alpha. Pretty impressive if this is true. Alright, so he's a value guy, obviously, when he's in something like this. And Courage was there, saying that he also was writing to his followers. So yeah, some good things here for sure. It's in the tracker, I'm gonna keep tracking it. Personally, I am in ALTO, and they deal in somewhat similar things. At least ALTO is trying to move into that more and more. But they are not similar on other things as well. But that's why I'm a bit hesitant right now. But it looks attractive on many things, in my opinion. Also, keep in mind we started to look at the revenue, and they seem to have been growing even from last year, growing, but that they can manage to get consistent up to close to 400 million, and that's a lot compared to the market cap right now. And there's going to be some what's the English word for it, like some incentives from the government, I guess, more and more to do business here in the green space and the renewable fuel and alternative fuel space. So if you're interested in this, I would advise you to look into that also, because that can be a catalyst. Did they actually, let's check if they mentioned that real quick in this article here. Yeah, energy credits that were not recognized as revenue in Q2, leading to a reported loss. It looked a bit worse than it was. FF's biofuel production generates renewable energy credits as a byproduct rather than capitalizing RIN assets at cost when generated. FF defers protecting their value until they are sold. Capitalizing RINs when generated would have increased reported Q2 adjusted EPS by up to 0.39 from 0.33 loss to profit, or 0.12 to 0.16 depending on tax rate. Nervous investor unfamiliar with RINs accounting and shocked by the Q2 loss promptly draw FF stock price down over 30% within 1 month. Due largely to its 300 million market cap, coverage of FF by Wall Street analysts is negligible. Consequently, few analysts have been motivated to defend the stock. Since 0.39 in revenues per share has been transferred from Q2 to Q3 with virtually no corresponding cost, reported Q3 EPS will probably exceed 0.50. And did it because we have those numbers now, right? Yeah, it didn't seem to do that. I guess that's something to look into here. But interesting. And nice to see courage also being there. I'm not sure if this is gonna go so much lower. And I guess like 10 is a good starting point for upside. If you do like a 10 times on the 7-year average here on operating cash flow, you get to 12, and the free cash flow 11, so around 10, between like 7 to 10 maybe, roughly, and more. It could of course go more. This has no depth, so it's well positioned in that regard. Okay, let's move to ALTO. ALTO is a stock I've been in for years. They had a disastrous Q3 where the expectations was super high, and they managed to bottle it. They managed to surprise everyone with a negative earning report, and the stock fell 60% in a day. So that was terrible. And what's even more terrible, I think, is that there has been very little commentary from management after that happened to kind of explain a little bit further, because there was very limited questions from analysts on the call. So the management, in my opinion, is one of the risks right now. And I know some people from, if you look a bit historic on this, have talked about management like they are a bit, that they don't know what they are doing, has been some of the comments at least. And when that happened, it kind of strengthened that point, in my opinion. But I want to give them a little bit of a chance, because they have a lot of near-term catalysts, in my opinion, that can get them back on track. They have a carbon sequestration, carbon capture and sequestrations project that was one of the positives from the Q3 report, that they had some commentary on that, and that they expected it this summer to be a bit more, that they had some more solid news on that. So that's what I'm looking forward to a little bit, to see that, and that's something I've looked forward to for a long time already. Before the Q3 report happened and everything, we knew that was going to come closer to the summer of 2024. So I kind of want to give them a chance until that, to see what's where this is going. There's a lot of analysts that we follow from the stream that has covered this. I know Justin is big here. Kingdom has tracked it for a while. Courage has had some comments, I think. I'm not sure if Courage has been involved. And others as well. Jeremy Raper wrote he's a big owner here. He wrote like an activist letter to management where he urged them to sell the entire business for around $6, which would be a massive gain from the levels where he was writing the activist letter. And then other people like Justin, for example, he was a bit against that idea because he saw a much higher valuation if you gave this some year to prove themselves. But then the Q3 report happened, which was totally unexpected for many people and myself included. That surprised a lot of investors, and like I said, it fell like 60%. That was very poor, but still there are things here on the fundamentals that I like a lot. You see the high revenue compared to the market cap. They trade below book right now, so Jeremy's point was that they have assets that are valuable, and definitely the peaking assets is in Illinois, is where the main plant is. They have some western assets also that I think maybe they will try to sell to raise some money for other projects. That I think I'm leaning more and more towards that would be a good thing. But it's the facility at Peking that is really valuable here. The management has said themselves in other reports that they are well positioned geographically in the States. I think even they said even the best position for doing stuff like carbon capture and stuff like that. And they've talked now for years already on how they are going to do that. And they have spent a lot of time to check partners who they can work with, who suits them the best, and if they're going to try to do most of the work on their own, or if they're going to like connect into some existing pipelines already, stuff like that. So that's what I'm a bit curious to see here. Where they will land with that project, and how that's gonna turn out. So there's a lot of different scenarios here that can happen. I'm hoping that they can turn it around, and maybe I think on the Q3 report there was the sentiment was a bit like Q4 will also be bad. But from there on out, that's where I want to give them a chance to show us that they are capable of doing what they have said they will do, and that the price will come around, hopefully. So in total, right now I'm down on ALTO, which is disappointing because it's my biggest position. But I'm not selling out yet. I still believe there are value here to be unlocked. And then, of course, the question is, how are management going to unlock this value? And that's where the different scenarios comes in. And Jeremy Raper, fantastic analyst also, he had some people with him, he said in the letter, that he viewed as very positive to selling around $6.50 per share to sell the entire business. So he was kind of pushing for that. We can check his letter actually. Yeah, Raper Capital. This happened in late June. An open letter to the board. not gonna read the whole thing, but if you want to check it out, you can find it on the website here, on Raper Capital's own website. Even a conservative market valuation of our company's assets would, I believe, yield north of 6.5 per share, or roughly 135% higher than recent traded prices. Peking campus is a uniquely strategic, locationally advantaged asset and would undoubtedly garner serious purchase interest from numerous strategic and financial buyers. So a bit like I talked about already. That's his main thing here, and he's pushing for them to sell. And a lot of people were a bit against it before of the Q3 happened, but then it did, and I bet he has some more interest for that thesis now and that strategy. But yeah. And they had some... The numbers has gone down a little bit lately, but I still like a lot here. And it's about the carbon capture project mainly for me. Justin has some fantastic articles on this. You don't really need so much more than to read his articles here to understand the business, the potential, the different ways to unlock the value here. But I advise you to read through this. Both his one from 2023 and also the update here. He also has a YouTube channel, Justin, that you can go and watch, where he talk about ALTO amongst other stuff. So Justin has covered this in depth. So I think one of his articles it was solid. I've never seen a long article like this before on Seeking Alpha. You can see here if I scroll all the way down, you have everything here. So take the time to read through it if you are interested in ALTO. And it gets a lot of comments. I think Justin is still commenting on updating, also on Twitter. You see there's some recent comments here. And his big thing now is this SAF, which is the aviation fuel. Sustainable aviation fuel. Is simply aviation fuel that is made from non-petroleum feedstocks such as used cooking oil or ethanol. The feedstocks are required to have extremely low carbon intensity scores. Therefore, there is currently some uncertainty on the subject as it relates to ethanol. There is currently no definite ruling from the Treasury IRS on what calculation will be used to determine the carbon intensity scores for SAF feedstock. And that's a huge market. So if they get some market share there, that's some high potential to make money. And he is talking more and more about this, and think they are well positioned to take some market share there. So that's something to pay attention to for the future of this company, I think. And that's, if you look at it from this perspective, that's really positive. But then again, management failed so miserably this last quarter that will they be able to unlock all of this? That's the big question here now. But then if they don't, you still have the Jeremy Raper letter that he's talking about 6.5 at minimum per share if you sell the whole business. And I mean, it's trading right now as 274 and was up today. And you can see on the chart since the drop, it has been up a lot. And I actually bought a little bit just below 2 here after it fell that day. I bought more. So I managed to average down. And I regret so much I didn't buy down here. I should have. But there was a lot of things going on in my life right here that made me I couldn't afford to put more money into this at this level, which has been a pain, but I promised myself if I get another opportunity, I will try to average down, which I managed to do a little bit here at least. So I'm happy with this one. But like I said, I'm still down in total, which I'm not happy with. So I'm tracking this one closely, real closely. Yeah, so that's Alto. I know Ranger Dane has also been interested in. I'm not sure if he still owns it. He told me he has trimmed some positions lately, so that's something we can talk a little bit about maybe on Saturday, when he joins me on Saturday. But interesting for sure. Alto is still interesting in my opinion. And I'm very curious to see how Q4 and further how management will navigate through that. Let me know in the comments if you are involved in Alto or if it's on your tracker, because I would love to hear and discuss a few points with you on that company. Like I said, there has been a lot of interest in this from people that we follow and have that we have talked about on the stream before. Henrik Alex, you also saw him on our article here. He wrote that after the poor earnings report. Poor execution in a favorable market environment, avoid. And he had a hold rating. So Henrik Alex is another good analyst that we talk a lot about. And see, since then, up 42%. So I think 60% drop on that quarterly report was a bit crazy. It was a bit too much, in my opinion. I can tell you it's not. You know, the earnings report where I live, they come a bit late in the day. So I went to sleep, and everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people expect like crushing numbers, like on a positive side. And then I woke up and I saw, what it's down like 40% in the aftermarket. And then when it opened and the day ended, it went down 60 in total. It was so horrible that day for me. Okay, I'm still in it. Didn't sell anything. Haven't sold anything. I bought, average down, and I think there's still something here. But I'm way less confident than I was before the Q3 report. I must say that. It's up to management. Management, where are you? Give us some comments. Give us some updates. This is not good enough. We want some updates on how that was possible that you didn't. You could have updated a little bit before the Q3 report. Obviously, you must have seen that there was a lot of positive writings about the company and all that. No, that was terrible. And give us some comments, please. We are in the dark here. We are in the dark. we need some updates. We need some we need some good news. Seriously. Because there's a lot of exciting things going on here. Anyways, too much about Alto. Let's go to the next one, PXS. I saw those are a company I saw in the Daily Movers today. Up 6%. And it's in the shipping industry that we saw were a bit up today on the dashboard here. And I saw they are from Greece, and I've actually seen this a lot on some other Greek shipping companies. They tend to have very good metrics here. If you look at this part, there's a lot of green stuff. And I've seen that before. But I'm a bit hesitant to invest in not anything against Greece. I think I've never been to Greece and I don't know much about them, but it's a beautiful country first and foremost. But I don't know the infrastructure. I know there's shipping is very big there. That they are big on shipping. So I'm not having anything against that. I just don't know the foreign risk that comes with that. You see a high ownership here also from the insiders, and it does trade good on a lot of metrics. But I have seen many other companies also from Greece that has the same numbers, and I'm wondering, are they all fantastic companies? I don't know. So I'm a bit hesitant, and I don't really know how much I can trust all of these numbers. And not that they report wrong or something like that, but my data provider Y sheets, I have not figured out if they have accurate numbers from foreign companies. Or I mean companies outside of like USA and Canada. So that's something I should have checked into a long time ago, but I've just avoided them a bit, to be honest, and focused on US company mostly. Yeah. But look, it does well compared to this, and you see it trades well below book. Historically, not so good on the cash generation, but we have also been in a time where shipping has not exactly been solid. I started the stream by talking about that I was involved in some shipping companies before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened and I sold out. And exactly in the company that I sold, I didn't lose out so much on opportunity because I don't think that went up so much in the pandemic anyways. But you can see this graph. This is Maersk, one of the big ones. They went up a lot, and it's up a lot now. So it looks a bit bullish, the whole industry, if you look at that chart. But here, low share count. Not so positive here on the operating cash flow, free cash flow. But then they have a good year now. You know, I'm since it's Greece, I don't know too much about it. They only have one good year. I'm just gonna skip it for now. But we can check Seeking Alpha and the chart. The chart seems to turn a little bit and are on the way up a little bit. But it has never been that high. You see, it has some spikes up, but not too much. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go to the next one. JetBlue, which I also found on the Daily Movers today. JetBlue Airways provides air transportation service. It carries more than 30 million customers a year to 86 cities in the US, Caribbean, and Latin America with an average of 850 daily flights. The firm offers flights and tickets to more than 82 destinations with accommodations such as free TV, free snacks, and the most legroom. Based in Long Island City, New York. JetBlue, I've heard about them, but I've never used them. I'm not from America, so I'm not from the US, so I've never flown. Is that how you say it? Flown? Never flown with them. I've never used them. But it's up 8% today. It doesn't trade too close to the 52-week low, but it trades a little bit from the 52-week high. Big market cap, lot of depth. You see it comes across as levered up here. And my sheet is then issuing a lot of shares for diluting it. Share count is a bit up, but so is revenue and capex. So they have, you see, they have made some acquisitions here. They sold something here in the pandemic, but historically they are making a lot of both big and smaller acquisitions. But book historically been well driven. If you just look up till before the pandemic, You see this equity growth is pretty decent, slow and steady on all these metrics, and also the share count was down, and then the pandemic happened and everything got a hit, but then has gone up a little bit after that on the revenues. But book is down. Seems like they took a lot of debt here to survive. And they have 387 in near term, and look at the current liabilities, it's almost 4 billion, which is a lot. They have cash to cover the near term, but we'll need to go into and check the debt here. Somewhat big short interest. Let's go and check the debt and the balance sheet. This is in millions. So they have billion in cash. They have a lot of like assets with the airplanes, of course. They have preferred stock. Okay. So 265 in 2024, almost the same in next year. Big up on 26, not so much here in 27, and a lot from 28 and thereafter. So they have public and non-public debt. You see, they are due, like, it's a long time till, but still. It's a bit complicated how they have structured all this debt. But they have time to pay this off, of course. So here they have some bonds here. Here, I just, when I can find them here on film, I like to look at this chart. You saw Roaring Kitty use this a lot, and the thinking is that these bond traders, they have a lot of knowledge about what they are doing, so it's just something to look at. You can see here it has taken a hit, this one. This is due in 26. A little bit up lately and then a drop again. This was in November this year. I mean 2023. Like here where it was at lows. So that's interesting. Ah, Finra. Finra. Come on. You can see the way we use this site is not efficient. We cannot go back and then we have to type everything in again. That was the 26. I was just thinking about pulling up the 2029 one as well. Okay. Not too much to see there. But still trades around 80, 85. That was this one. All right. Depth heavy. Let's see what people. Let's see who. Been a lack of insiders on the companies that we have gone through today. And usually, I've never owned airlines. Never owned airlines. So this will be a first for me if I end up finding these interesting enough to buy, which I don't think at this stage that I do. But that would be a brand new experience for me. The normal owners are big here. Yeah. Trades below book and tangible book. Cash generation is not amazing. And earnings look bad earnings, debt heavy, short interest, and a growth in the revenue. But this is just, I don't want to deal in airlines right now. Tim Dunn is bullish. Court decision still pending, okay? Okay, see, this is something that I don't know because I have never used them, but this guy, Jesse, says that at some point has to recover as it's a solid, well-run airline that everybody seems to love. Please let me know in the comments if you know about this company and if this is accurate or not. Because I have no idea. There seems to be a court thing going on here. Anyways, I'm not gonna deal in it. So yeah, I didn't add anything to the tracker today, but definitely some good companies that I found already in the tracker. One last thing I want to do before we maybe finish things today is to go quickly through the news here in the tracker. And if you haven't seen this before, I have like a news column here that alerts me from both news and press releases, and the numbers just means how many days it is since the news has been released. And then I have some conditional formatting that when it says 0, it means today, and then it turns purple. If it's above 0, like yesterday, it says 1 and it turns yellow. So I try to cover this daily and get through them and just read up on the news. And I've also, for people who have watched the stream before and noticed in my tracker, I've added this column here that takes me directly to the press releases. Because earlier I had to go to Seeking Alpha and then hit press release. It's not a big deal, but this button takes me straight to the press releases, so it's just a shortcut. But yeah, let's check SPGI first. They have one of both a news and a press release. So Sinclair enters network distribution agreements with CBS Television. Okay, so they have some deal that they've done. Also, see an inside buy the last 3 months, up 30% the last 3 months. And I've added them like 3 months ago, up 4% on that news. CPE. They have a lot, but it's more connected to the entire industry, I think. But they also had a press release. Yeah. There's an investigation going on. All right. And Calm, that's the one we saw, right? Kyle Main. That was the report. HHS with a press release. Extends line of credit with Texas Capital Bank. All right. Any comments on that? No. And was it up today? Not a lot. TPC. Nothing. Macy's has some news. There's some general news. Nothing to pay too much attention about. CNX. They had a press release. CNX Resources Corporation announces fourth quarter. Okay. Just a schedule of the fourth quarter report. Vox. Vox in the, yeah, same there. There's going to be a lot of those. Also on the yellow ones, that's probably the reports now. EchoStar files for mixed shelf. Okay, that's I saw it was down. Almost 6%. Mixed shelf offering. All right, so from a rise, it's now down a little bit again. There's a pullback. So interesting. Worth keeping an eye on if you found it cheap here and thought that you lost out. Maybe we'll see it down here again. Earning call, the transcript. Down today. Yeah, not much. Not much too interesting. There was some, and some who are down. Maybe there's some opportunities here. You see, here's Paul that I started the stream talking about. I'm 30% down today. Look at this. Look at the volume. Insane. And still up on the weekly. Crazy. Just something I'm watching. I don't think I have the balls to go into there now. I've tracked them for a long time. You can see since April 2022. They were $2 then. So yeah, that's it. That's it, everyone. I think we went through some tickers today. Mostly interesting stuff that I am tracking. But yeah, definitely some exciting times moving forward about some tickers that we discussed here in the streams. I also see that the stuff that we have talked about in the past on the other streams, that they have been moving both up and down a lot. Many of the tickers that we have gone through actually. So let's see what happens tomorrow, and Ranger Dane and I will be back on Saturday to do a stream together, and maybe we can then go through maybe some of the weekly movers or other things that we have seen throughout the week that we find interesting. I know Dane talked about a ticker today with me that he found interesting. Maybe we can go through that a little bit on Saturday. Yeah, so hopefully if you're watching, you can tune in on Saturday as well. And please, as always, feel free to comment and give us some feedback, and on the stream and the way we do things. We try to improve every time, and we are new to this, so give us some have some patience with us. But the goal is to get that conversation going in the comment section here. So I hope if you tune in that you can write some comments to us, so we can bounce off some ideas of each other, and talk about companies and tickers and the fundamentals and everything that is this strategy. So that's the aim of the entire stream. I hope you enjoyed today. I'm keeping a close eye on a lot of the tickers here that I've gone through today, and Future Fuel, FF, and ALTO is probably the two that stands out to me right now. ALTO, of course, is I'm a owner. I've been following it for a long time. But also EAF and CALM was interesting, I think. And when you see moves like this in a day, that catches my eyes when they are already in the tracker. And especially when there was some news like in SATS about the shelf offering. That is interesting to me, and maybe something I will keep an eye on moving forward in next coming weeks. But yeah, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you on Saturday. Enjoy your day.